First ocarina was the Woodnote Alto C. Second ocarina was Ohuhu Alto C Ocarina. This is the one that you're not allowed to say good things about. This still sounds nearly identical as this one, except for this has a higher overtone volume than this one, which this one has become the basic, staple like STL, Songbird, and all that stuff. Noble. Subtle differences in the shape, but basically it's the same shape and design as these other companies that are saying that this ocarina isn't a real ocarina or it's a toy or something like that. So, but then again, there are ocarinas, and even this one made by Woodnote and Alto C, its overtone volume isn't as rich as this one is. Essentially, this is the exact volume of a penny whistle. This one I played closer to the camera here so that you could hear the overtone note volume better on the first volume, which it actually isn't as rich and as loud as this one. So it's interesting. Because ocarinas, they have two volumes, an overtone volume and a projection volume. This one has a great projection volume. This one has a great projection volume. This one, it doesn't have a great overtone volume. This one has a great overtone volume. So this one, the Ohuhu Ocarina as a whole, is a better ocarina than this Woodnote Ocarina that can go a little bit higher in scale. This can go a little bit more into almost a soprano range than this one. This one can only go like half into the soprano range that this one can go. So as a whole, this one wins out because you have both volumes. You have both volumes, the overtone volume and that second one see that second one? That one actually you can play alongside a bagpipe and still hear yourself. And a bagpipe is very loud. Plus I know because I actually play a pipe chanter for bagpipe. And it's just as loud as that. So as a whole, good ocarina. Ohuhu Ocarina. Not so good ocarina. It's essentially you have, this is a handicapped ocarina. Just like most of the other ones are actually handicapped ocarinas, like STL, Songbird. Now, what they do, I'm not saying don't buy those ocarinas. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the fact that the first volume, the overtone volume, is lacking. Now, most people, they'll just blow hard into it, and so you'll have that volume. And they do that volume fine, even perfectly. But this one does both volumes. So essentially, if you live like I do, I live in a townhouse, that it's one of the units in one basically big unit. It's one section. So next to me right here, if I really play this, the second volume, since it does a lot of bagpipe, they'll start banging on the walls. Now I don't want them to do that. So I play the overtone volume, which is actually at the level of just a penny whistle. So I can get away with it and not get in trouble up front at the office. So this one, I more have to really hear it. If I really want to hear this one, instead of having to have basically nothing making sound in my room, if I really want to hear this and there's noise and stuff like that, or even me playing have headphones on and practicing to it, I have to play it on the second volume, which is the projection volume. I can't play the overtone volume. But with this one that has a good overtone volume, I don't have to play the second volume that rivals the decimal of a bagpipe. And the neighbors won't have to hear me playing it. So that's a tremendous strength. I can always be practicing anytime I want. And I can be practicing with music on, which is great. Also, I'm 40 years old, and over the years, I've learned some things. I kind of did some things that maybe I still have 100% of my hearing, but I have a very mild tinnitus or tinnitus, whatever they call it. So sometimes playing something in ocarina like this that's only good on the second volume that rivals a bagpipe in decimal sound, it actually kind of, depending where I am, can feel like a knife going into my eardrum. So actually having a good vibrant overtone volume like the Ohuhu Ocarina is excellent because it never hurts, it never has the potential to actually hurt my ears because of my tinnitus. So that's good. So as a whole, this is actually a better deal, this Ohuhu Ocarina, than buying a Woodnote Alto C Ocarina or an STL Ocarina, unless, since I know that they primarily make them resembling this as a whole, right down to its overtone volume being very quiet, I will assume, I could be wrong, that they make all of their ocarinas only with a good second projection volume. So I would not recommend buying, unless they make one that has, like the Ohuhu Ocarina, has a good overtone volume, which is the first volume. That is at the decimal of a penny whistle. Then, because maybe I'll buy one of their ocarinas one day. Maybe. So I'll, whatever. But as a whole, I bought different ocarinas, even a focal link ocarina, and it has actually, it's quieter than this one. The overtone volume, the first volume, is actually a little quieter than this one, which this one is actually quieter than this one. So, and that one, the focal link ocarina, is only good on the second volume. You try the overtone volume and you get high enough on the range here, and it just starts to go. It just kind of fades. This one, at least, you can go high and it's basically the same volume. Wait, sometimes this gets jammed up. Right, so if the focal link one will start to actually get higher, the volume gets lower and lower and lower and lower. So as a whole, I'm very satisfied with the Ohuhu Ocarina because it has, since I have a little bit sensitive ears now, I don't have to play the second volume for the notes to sound right. It has the first volume is at the exact decimal of a penny whistle. So that's a big plus. That means I can practice and not get in trouble. And it's just great. I enjoy it very much. I'm happy. I wish they would do this, what they did with this one, where both volumes are great, instead of just one of the volumes. I wish they would do this with more ocarinas that are supposedly more high-end, that they say, that when they compare this alongside it, it's like, oh, this is junk. It's out of tune. You can't go as high. Well, the reason why this can't go as high probably has something to do with that. The fact that they got the overtone volume and the second volume right. This one goes higher because, well, they didn't get the overtone volume right, but they got the second volume right. So, I don't know. I just, I would reason, though, that I have a Dragon Tooth Ocarina, and its overtone volume goes higher than this. But the body, it tapers out to a longer point. So you got more space inside. So that's actually the real reason why this doesn't go as high as other ocarinas. It's not that it's out of tune or they made it wrong or that's a toy. Just simply because it doesn't have as much, it doesn't taper out. Like, there isn't as much space inside. The more space inside, depending on how you shape it, if you have more space inside that, you generally ration out more. Like a dragon tooth ocarina, you will naturally be able to reach higher notes. Essentially, the 12 holes, you'll actually be able to ration with an ocarina, depending on body shape, a bigger range of sound is rationed and fit into the holes. So some holes, actually, you'll just cover up half to get an entirely different note. Some holes is like you cover up the entire note, the entire hole, or open an entire hole to basically get a higher note. And then other holes, it'll have to even be more specific with your fingering, and you can only do half of the hole to get a higher note, and half of a hole to get a sharp or a flat of that note. It's really interesting. So playing the ocarina is almost like you're shaping when you're playing in stuff. It's not like 1, 2, 3. It's more like it's almost like you're massaging. It's almost like you're holding the sound and you're just massaging and like shaping it. It's really interesting. It's almost like you're making pottery and stuff like that. It's really unique. It's a really unique experience in that. Whereas with typical cylindrical flutes, it's like either like this, and it's like here, but with ocarina, it's more like, and it's almost completely organic. I don't know how to describe it. Basically, it's like you're working with a pottery and stuff like that, and it's almost like you're shaping sound with your hands. It's really cool. But then again, ocarina is fully chromatic, and which means basically you can hit every sharp and flat. So it makes sense that some notes are just you gradually move your hand, and other ones you just lift the finger completely. So, but anyways, that went longer than I thought it would. But yeah. So, that meant anything? Whatever.